Hello my yarny friends, I'm Sara Sach and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to make this super cute wreath ornament. And the neat thing about it is it measures 5 by 5 inches, so it's also a great size for a coaster. The truth is you could use this as a gift tag, an ornament on your tree of course, maybe adding it to a bunting, or using it, like I said, as a coaster. Lots of uses for this particular ornament. It was kind of a mistake that I designed this because I was going to make a circle into a square, granny square, for another project. But when I got to the third circle and then started adding the fourth one, I thought, that looks just like a fun Christmas wreath. There's no opening in the middle, which is super nice. And I used all of the metallic, I love this yarns, all medium weight number 4. Now, you do not have to use the same yarn that I used, of course. And we'll talk more about yarns when we get a little farther on in the video. But what makes this super cool is it's super sturdy. And that's because when we sewed on all our French knots for our berries, and you could also use beads if you wanted to, it's messy on the back, right? So what I did is I picked up some felt. It's a sticky felt, and I put it right on the back. Here's another one that I have cut out. You just peel the sticky part off and stick it right on. But I'll tell you all about that at the end of the video so you can, make yours not look quite so messy. And it works great for a coaster because it's got that felt on it. And I've actually been tempted to go back to some of my other coasters and add some of these to the back of them because it will help protect the surface if you make it out of acrylic yarn. All right, so like I said, it measures 5 by 5, so it's a great size. And you can find that complete pattern on my blog. And as always, I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. So what we need, of course, is some yarn. This is all stitched in a medium weight number 4 yarn. Now I used I love this yarn, metallic. I already had this on hand. I used the white, the green, and then just a real small amount of the red for the berries and the bow. Now, I know that Red Heart makes a sparkle yarn in a medium weight number 4. I believe that Michael's also, and Joann's. And there are lots of other sparkle yarns that you can use. And again, you don't even have to make it sparkly. You can use whatever yarns that you have on hand as long as they're medium weight number 4 yarns. Okay? And you just need a small amount of each color. I don't even think a ½ ounce. And of course the red, you just need a tiny bit. All right? So we're going to stitch with our H hook, which is a 5mm crochet hook. You need your scissors and you need a needle. And then this is the felt that I wanted to tell you about. I just cut a circle. I used a lid for a bowl. I cut around that lid that I have for a container that I got from one of the restaurants that we went to that had salsa in it. And I took the salsa home in a container and I used that lid. You can use anything. It can be smaller. It can come out a little wider. You can even just trace around this and then cut in a little bit. It's up to you, but it just really makes it nice on the back because it covers up the mess of where we sewed our berries on, and it gives us this nice felt back. All right, so I picked these up at my local Hobby Lobby, 99 cents for each sheet, and a sheet is 9 by 12. I picked up red, green, blue, and white, because I have lots of projects I'm going to use these for. Now that I have discovered the sticky back, they call it peel and stick felt. And you just cut out what you need. You peel the back off. If I can get a hold of it and stick it on. And it's really sticky. You won't even be able to get it back off. All right? I'm using my beige, kind of goldy beige background since I'm using white yarn to begin with, okay? So we're going to begin with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 5 to make a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to join this chain 5 in a circle. So we put the yarn over our hook and pull it through that loop. Now we'll make our little stay knot so our circle doesn't come undone. If you want to use the magic circle or a magic loop or whatever method you want, that's totally fine to make our beginning circle. We're going to put our hook in and chain 3. And now I'm going to stitch 11 double crochets. Our chain 3 counts as 1, and I'm stitching 11 more. And that's going to give us 12 double crochets in the center. Now I am stitching over my tail of yarn, and that's so I can close that hole up tidy and secure so we don't have a hole in the center of our ornament. Alrighty, let's count, see how many I've stitched. So here's our chain 3, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Alrighty, let's join to the chain 3. And we're not going to chain 3 because we're going to be changing colors to our green yarn. So I'm going to make a little bit big of a loop so it doesn't come undone. We're going to turn it over, and I'm going to grab my needle, and we're going to close up this hole. So first I'm going to pull on it just a little bit because we stitched around it. There we go. And now I'm just going to weave that in. We need to weave it in anyway, so I'm going to use it to close up that hole and then just weave it in, going back and forth. All right, gonna clip that off. And so for row or round 1, we have 12 double crochets in our circle, but we did not chain 3 because we're going to change to our green next. So we're going to bring in our green, which will be the color of our wreath. We are not going to tie off our white because we're going to come back in and finish with white, and so we're just going to trail that up. All right, if it makes it easier for you to cut it, go right ahead. You do what works best for you. All right, so we're going to bring in our green and chain 3. All right, so now we're going to go in that same stitch as our chain 3 and stitch a double crochet. Now we're going to go to that next stitch and stitch 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. And so for round 2, we're stitching 2 double crochets in each of those double crochets around. Two double crochets in each of those 12 for round 2, and we'll join back to our chain 3. I have completed row 2. We stitched 2 double crochets in each of those 12, so we have 24 double crochets. We're going to join to the chain 3 and chain 3. Now for round 3, we're going to do what I call 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in the first, 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. 1 double crochet in the next, 2 double crochets in the next. So we're alternating 1 and 2 double crochets around. 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Oops. There we go. 2 double crochets in the next. 1 and 2. And this is our repeat for round 3. 1 and 1, 2. 1 and 2 is not a technical term. It's just a term I use to help me remember what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so for round 3, we're stitching 1 double crochet in the next, 2 double crochets in the next, and repeat all the way around and join back to our chain 3. So I have completed round 3. We did 1 and 2 all the way around, so we have 36 double crochets. We're going to join to our chain 3 And we're done with our green. So we're going to go ahead and cut that off. And we're going to bring back in our white. And this is where the magic happens to make it look like a wreath. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to skip the next 2 double crochets, chain 1, and go in that space between those 2. 1 and 2. And now we're going to chain 1. We're going to skip the next 2 double crochets and single crochet between the next 2. 1, 2, and chain 1. And we'll repeat this all the way around. 2 single crochets in the space between the next 2 and chain 1. So we're skipping 2 and placing 2 single crochets between and chain 1 all the way around. And so now you can see that it's starting to look like that wreath. All right, and so we'll repeat this all the way around. Chain 1, skip the next 2 and 2 single crochets between the next 2 and chain 1. And again, like I said, we'll repeat it all the way around and then we'll join back to our first single crochet. I have completed round 4. We have 2 single crochets, chain 1 all the way around, so we have 18 sets of those. We're going to join to the first single crochet and chain 1. We're going to single crochet in the 2 single crochets and then 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space. 1 single crochet in the 2 single crochets and single crochet in the chain 1 space. And this is going to give us just a nice edge on our coaster or ornament, or you could even put a magnet on the back and stick it on your fridge. Lots of things you could do with this wonderful wreath pattern. All right, so basically we're doing a nice even row of single crochets all the way around. 1 single crochet in the 2 single crochets and 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space, working all the way around, and then we'll join back to that first single crochet, and I'll show you how to add a little loop. So I have repeated that all the way around. 1 single crochet in each of the 2 singles, 1 single crochet in the chain 1 space, and I really love the effect of how it looks like a wreath. All right, now we're going to join to that first single crochet, and now we're going to make a loop. So we're going to chain 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We'll join right back to that same stitch with a slip stitch, and if you want your loop to be a little bit bigger, you can obviously chain more. There we go. And we do have a little bit of weaving in to do here in the back. So I'm going to grab my needle and tidy this up a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how to make those super cute holly berries. I have tidied up the back, and now I'm ready to add my holly berries. It's really just random how I did them. I just kind of went back and forth around. And again, if you want to add beads, you're going to use this as an ornament. You can always add red beads or different color beads and make it really pretty. But I like using the French knots because I just think I really like them. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to come up from the back and make sure that you go through a stitch and not a hole. Okay, we're going to leave a little back there, and I always like to make what I call a little loop. You don't normally do this in embroidery, but I like to when I'm doing it on crochet or knitting or something like that. All right, so we're going to wrap it 3 times, and then we're going to go right down through that loop that's already there, just like go right through the thread of it. And then gently pull on that, okay? So now I want to come up here. So I'm going to come up through another stitch. I'm going to make a little loop. It just helps the berry stay where it's supposed to be and not get lost in the crochet. 1, 2, 3. And I want you to see this. I'm going to go right through that fiber of that loop and go in. All right, then I'll come up over here. And it's really just random. The main thing you want to do is go through a stitch, the fiber of the stitch, make that little loop, and then 3 wraps. And you don't want to do it too tightly or you won't get your needle through, but you don't want to do it too loosely or you'll have loose loops. All right, and so it's just a random thing where you put them. There's no set place. Just however you want to do it. And this is just my technique. You know, other people may not have you put that loop. It's okay. I'm just doing it because I want it to stay put. I don't want to lose that berry down inside any of those stitches. Okay, and then I'm just, like I said, I'm just randomly placing them. You can measure it out and make sure they're all even and everything. Totally fine, however you want to do it. As I always say, you do what works best for you. All right, so I'm just going to continue around making some holly berries, and then I'll show you how to add that ribbon. So I added a lot more berries to this one than I did this one. So it's up to you how many berries that you want to add on your wreath. Okay, now we want to add a bow. You can use a ribbon if you want to. I think a ribbon would look beautiful, but I wanted to use the same yarn that I used for my berries. Okay, so I just cut 2 strands, and what we're going to do is right underneath this tie, we're going to pull it in on this side, and then we'll go next to that and pull it in on this side. We'll make sure they're even. All right, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to do what I call bunny ear bows. It's where you take 2 of the bow loops, and we call it bunny ears, and we just cross them and flip one through. And I think this makes a really nice bow. And it's up to you how tightly you want to pull that, how long you want your strings to be. Just a little bigger. There we go. And then we can just clip those. You can always add a button or something on there if you want to. I just don't. I like them just like this. But one thing is, this one is quite floppy, right? And this one's nice and stiff. Also, if you turn it over, it's a little bit messy. So I have cut a piece of felt out of the sticky back that I showed you earlier. And I'm going to place that right there. It's going to stiffen it up a little bit so that it hangs nice, but it's also going to cover my mess. All right. So we'll just pull that sticky back off. And it is super sticky. All right. And like I said, I just used a lid. You can make your circle bigger to come out to the edges, or just enough to cover this. It's totally up to you. Okay? And then we'll just put that on. Press it on nicely with your fingers. And that baby is not coming off. It is on there for good. And now it's a little bit stiffer. Perfect for a coaster. Perfect for a bunting. Perfect to hang on your tree. Or maybe you want to turn it over and write, "To my favorite grandson Aiden" on here, and give it to him on his gift bag. Of course, Aiden's my favorite grandson because he is my only grandson. I tell him that all the time. He's my favorite grandson. All right, so that is our wreath, Christmas ornament, gift tag, coaster, anything decoration you want it to be. And remember, you can make it in whatever colors that you want.